What about if you were going to skip one meal? Is it better to skip breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Is it better to have like I'm going to eat my protein and veggies in the morning after an hour waking up and have, a solid meal to fuel me for the day. I'm going to have like a lighter lunch and then no dinner and have a longer burn time before you go to sleep? Or is it better to skip breakfast and have lunch and a lighter dinner?
I think whatever works for people, but I will tell you that it's better to, probably for me, the way I look at it, I encourage people to skip breakfast. Just because you're burning fat all night long, just keep the burn going.
Keep burning.
Keep burning.
Yeah.
Okay. And the key though, if you're going to skip a meal, all right, if you're going to skip a meal is not to overeat the next time you sit down for food.
And think, I'm starving. Yeah.
Don't do it. I mean, again, these things take a little bit of mindfulness, a little bit of self-actualization. You just have to recognize it's in your control.
Right. Okay, so we're talking about fat, and we're talking about your new book, Eat to Beat Your Diet, Burn Fat, Heal Your Metabolism, and Live Longer. Make sure you guys get a copy of this, packed with tons of research, wisdom, and practical application that you can do for your daily life. What is the most surprising science around fat in your mind? And you talk about fat not being the villain we've made it out to be. In what ways does it support us?
Okay, so I want to tell people, because I'm a scientist, I'm a vascular biologist as well as a doctor. As scientists, we like to look at origins of tissue, of organs, okay? What's the origin of fat, right? Well, so a lot of people don't know this, but it's been studied. Your mom's egg met your dad's sperm, you were a ball of cells in the womb, okay? And when you started to form who you will later be, the first tissue gets laid down are your blood vessels, your circulation. Every cell, every organ needs a blood flow, right? Otherwise it's not going to survive. Blood vessels. Second tissue that gets laid down are nerves, because every organ needs a signal pathway. You need to be able to send commands to the organ through your nerves.
Yeah.
All right. Third tissue that gets laid down, fat.
Really?
Little tiny fat cells start to form like bubble wrap around your blood vessels, okay? And the reason it does this is because, remember we talked about this, your fat cells are your fuel tanks, and your blood receives the fuel, so it's got to load it right into the tank. It's, like if you were designing a car, that's what you would do, right? Okay, so
this is over muscle, this is over tissue, this is over bone.
Yeah, this is the primordial
first fat
system, all right? So you had fat before you had a face you could stuff with food.
Crazy.
That's a key thing, because we don't start to think about fat until later on in life, right? Now, when you're born, what gives us joy when we see a baby? It's a fat baby, chubby cheeks, round belly, arms and legs that look like a circus balloon.
Sure, like Michelin Man.
A Michelin Man, right? That's and we know that a baby is healthy if it's kind of pudgy and chubby. Now imagine if you saw a baby that had chiseled cheekbones like a fashion model, thin arms and long thin thighs, you'd say there's something seriously wrong with that baby, and you'd be absolutely right. So I'm just telling you, we have to rethink what we know about body fat. It's not bad. What does it do? Well, I mentioned to you, it actually is an organ that secretes these critical hormones that turn up or turn down our appetite, that allow us to suck in energy along with insulin. That can be the brake for sucking that energy in. Very, very important. In fact, 13 hormones. Those three are the most important ones. What else does it do? It's a cushion. Now, if we didn't have fat in our body, if we tripped on a rug and fell on the floor, our organs would rupture.
Wow.
Okay, got in a car accident, bam, your organs would rupture. Thank goodness we've got some padding in there so that it can be a shock absorber for us. All right, that's very, very important. And then the brown fat, okay, which is not the jiggly fat. There's two colors of fat in our body, brown and white. White fat is the jiggly fat. The fat under your arm, under your chin, the muffin top, all right, around your thighs and your butt. That's the stuff that people kind of like.
They want to get rid of.
They want to get rid of, okay? That's actually not that hard. It may not be pleasing. You might want to get rid of it, but it's not the most harmful part. The most harmful part of fat is lumpy, bumpy, and it grows inside your body.
In the organs.
Around your organs.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's not the external fat on your body.
It's not the external fat. It's actually inside. So
That's the scary fat.
yeah, because you could have a big body size, okay, like a heavyweight boxer, or you could be rail thin, all right, like a javelin thrower, and you could still have excess body fat packed inside your
Really?
skinny frame.
How does that happen if you're skinny and you still get fat on the inside?
It has to do with your body frame. Some people have thin frames. Think about it this way. You go to the FedEx and you're going to ship a fluorescent light bulb. It's kind of delicate. You don't want it to break. So you're going to get a big thin box, and then you're going to actually get some peanuts, and you're going to pour the
Padding,
peanuts in there
yeah.
to pad it, right? Now let's say you get an extra bag of peanuts. You're going to really cram those peanuts in there. And so that light bulb is being pressed by the peanuts, and you're going to force that thinning box to be shut, tape it shut. At arm's length, it's still a skinny box. Inside, it's bursting, about to burst. That's what can happen with...
Interesting.
That's what can happen with visceral fat.
Wow. So how do we get rid of the visceral fat around our organs?
It's one of the first fats that energy is drawn from when your brown fat fires it. So let's talk about the hero fat,
Okay.
the good guy. So I told you the white fat, subcutaneous and visceral fat, the stuff that grows inside you, actually is lumpy, bumpy, jiggly, wiggly. All right. Brown fat is wafer thin, and it's not close to the skin. You can't see it. It's close to the bone around your neck,
Interesting.
behind your chest. Okay, so it's really deep inside you, and it fires up whenever you actually need it to fire up. Originally, we think actually it was intended for cold temperatures. All right, so basically, when you're really cold, it lights up your brown fat, and the brown fat again is as a space heater, takes fuel from wherever it can get, like your visceral fat, and it burns it down in order to generate heat. All right, keeps your core body temperature warm. Where does it get that fuel? From your excess fat.
Wow.
Draws from there first. All right? That's why when you see there's certain foods that you can eat that turn on your brown fat, they also decrease your waist circumference because they are shrinking the harmful fat that's inside your body. That's the fat you want to get rid of.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. And the easiest way to get rid of it is how?
The easiest way to get rid of it is actually to allow your body to normally burn, as we talked about with the timed eating.
Yes.
All right. But another way that you can add on top of that is choosing foods that I write about in my book, 150 of them,
Yep.
that when you eat them, ignite your brown fat.
Okay.
So it ignites extra burn. You get, it's sort of like putting nitro into your body. It actually helps your body burn extra fuel. Where does it get the fuel from? The brown fat burns down fuel, and it gets that fuel from the white fat, the harmful fat. Good fat fights bad fat.
So you've got 150 of these foods in Eat to Beat Your Diet, the new book, but I'm curious if you could share 5 that help burn fat. The foods that you should eat to help burn fat, what
right.
would those be?
So this is the second section of my book where I actually tell people about the foods. And the way I wrote this, by the way, Lewis, is I take the reader into a trip in my grocery cart. It's like
Okay.
when you were a kid, you rode your mom's grocery cart,
Yes.
and she pushed you around.
Yeah, it was
All
the
right.
best.
So what I do is I put you in the grocery cart, and I wheel you around the store, a grocery store, and I narrate into your ear, whisper in your ear, what foods you should put into the cart. All right. So we go to the produce section. We go to the beverage section. We go to the forbidden middle aisles.
Oh, man.
I tell you how to find the good stuff in there.
The box aisles.
And then we go to the seafood section,
Yep.
and we pick up different foods. So let's let me come up with 5. Just going through, cruising through the section of the grocery store. Produce section. I look at tomatoes that contain lycopene, and the lycopene actually dissolves in your fat. So when you eat a tomato, the lycopene naturally dissolves in your fat to fight fat.
Interesting. Now, what about the case about lectins with tomatoes?
Okay, big urban legend. Tomatoes do have lectins. There are hundreds of lectins. The ones that are tomatoes are harmless.
Okay.
All right, that's it. That's the end of the story.
There you go.
I mean,
Okay.
so again, well-meaning people try to interpret things, and they tend to kind of they try to put together a story that actually isn't supported by science.
Okay.
All the evidence for tomatoes show that, in fact, you get net health benefits
Positive.
from it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tomatoes.
So tomatoes
now,
one
is
of
a tomato in any form? Is that in tomato sauce, or is it more?
It could be raw tomatoes. It could be tomato sauce, tomato paste.
Okay.
Double concentrated tomato paste in a
Interesting.
tube. Even more concentrated because it's got even more lycopene. There's even tomato powder you can find. All right, the tomato sauce, the canned tomatoes, tomato paste. You don't find that in the produce section. You find that in the middle aisles.
Right. So tomatoes help you activate the process of burning fat.
That's right. Exactly. And what's really cool about tomatoes is that the stuff that is in tomatoes, lycopene, that does the fat burning, okay, dissolves in fat. So when you eat it, it immediately travels into your fat, okay?
Wow.
It embeds itself in your fat to fight the fat.
Nice.
Pretty powerful.
Before the interview continues, if you feel like you're not living your most authentic life, not leaning into your purpose, and not living the life that your future self would be extremely proud of, I've written a new book called The Greatness Mindset, and I think you're gonna love this. Through powerful stories, science-backed strategies, and step-by-step guidance, The Greatness Mindset will help you overcome all the different challenges in your life to design the life of your dreams and then turn it into your reality. Make sure to click the link below in the description to get your copy today. Okay, let's get back to this video.
Okay, so tomatoes fight the fat.
All right, now we're
What
still
else
in
you
the,
got?
I want to show another one that's actually pretty powerful. There was a study that showed eating just 2 pears a day would help you lose 3 pounds.
Come on, really?
Okay, yeah, over about a month. And the bottom line.
Oh, it's only eating 2 pears a day,
No. You eat everything else, but you
And
just
you add
add
that.
2 pears a day. Now, why? Because pears have the same thing as in coffee, chlorogenic acid that fights body fat. But pears, in addition, have 6 grams. A medium pear has about 6 grams of dietary fiber. The fiber is prebiotic. It feeds your gut bacteria, your gut microbiome, and your gut microbiome is very, very happy. It gets happy and pays you back by helping to up your metabolism. Streamlines your lipids, your blood cholesterols, actually helps to lower your blood pressure, lowers inflammation, and it actually improves your metabolism as well and helps you burn body fat. And so, as a fruit, pear's got the fiber, it's got the chlorogenic acid, also not too sweet.
It's not too much sugar,
Not
right?
too much sugar either.
Compared to an apple, which typically has more, right?
Compared to a pineapple or compared to a mango.
What about apples compared to pears?
It's about the apple and pear is about the same.
About the same.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Does it depend on the type of apple? Because some apples are like filled with a lot of sugar. They're huge and they're...
Yeah, so again, I think that the focus on the sugar is sort of a little bit of a bogey.
Okay,
All right.
got it.
What you want to do is to focus on the good stuff in apples. And I'll tell you, for the polyphenols in apples, that has been studied. All right. Golden Delicious, Granny Smith, and the Renette apple are the 3 varietals that actually have the highest polyphenols.
What are those again? Golden...
Golden Delicious, Granny Smith, and the Renette, Reinette. That's a smaller European apple. You'll see if you go to any European market in the fall, it's all over the place.
So these have more polyphenols
Polyphenols.
than, say, the Fuji apple or the other...
Oh yeah. Fuji has actually relatively little. They're on the lower end of the polyphenols.
Right. It's just more like candy bar. It's like just sugar. Is what it tastes
you
like. It
know,
tastes so
you know,
good. That's the thing.
It's light. I mean, I would say that
yeah.
it's got kind of a light flavor. It doesn't have. It's not as dense, and it doesn't produce as much polyphenol.
Got it. Okay, so Golden Delicious, Granny Smith, and the other one. Okay, so pears and apples.
No, well, we did tomatoes. And we
Tomatoes,
did
pears.
Those are my 2 picks.
Okay.
Let's dive into the middle aisle.
All right,
'cause I
let's
love
bring
that.
it.
The first place I'd go in the middle aisle, actually, is the spices, and I would get a bag of dried chili powder, poblano chilies, ancho chilies, any kind of chili. And by the way, it's chili, so you could get the powder, you could get the dried pods, or if you wanted to get a salsa, chili salsa, that would also work. If you want to go to get sriracha sauce, that also works. I'm just telling you, this is how you get to 150 different foods. It's the chili in it. Now, what's in chili? You're gonna love this. Now, there is something called capsaicin and capsaicinoids. All right, those are the 2 things in chili that give you the burn. All right. Now,
Make you sweat too.
They make. I'll tell you
For
exactly.
me, as a white boy, it makes me sweat a
I'm
lot.
going
when
to
I
tell
have
you why,
chilies.
and now I'm going to tell you
I
why.
like them, but I'm like dripping sweat.
I'm going to tell you why
Tell me.
now. Because the capsaicin in chili turns on a switch on your tongue and in your mouth. It's called TRPV1. Okay, don't worry about the name of it. Just know that there's a switch. Pepper, capsaicin goes to the switch, turns on the switch in your tongue. Your tongue then sends a text message to your brain, and your brain releases 2 kinds of hormones. One is an endorphin, so it's a feel-good hormone. That's why you love it. Okay, that's why some people are addicted to chili, or hot spice. The other one is called noradrenaline. Noradrenaline is a stress hormone, actually. All right, and you can feel this next time you have something spicy. Put it in your mouth, feel the burn, and if you pay attention to it, like in a quiet room, or if you can like kind of go into a Zen state, you'll feel the text message go to your brain.
Right.
You will feel the hormones being sent down the nerves of your neck. Like literally, you'll feel it, and those nerves and those hormones light up your brown fat. They turn on your brown fat like a key into an ignition. Boom, turn it on, and by the way, that noradrenaline, norepinephrine, actually causes you to sweat.
Right.
Right. So now you understand exactly what's it. But you're also turning on your metabolism, and that brown fat that's turning on is burning down harmful extra fat.
So sweating when you eat is not a bad thing.
It's a reflection of the fact that your brain is doing something.
It's working.
It's working.
It's burning calories. It's
Yeah.
connecting to the fat, the
Yeah.
brown fat, right?
Yeah.
It's starting to activate the metabolism.
Yep.
Is there any negative side effects to having, in chilies in your gut or in your intestines, where it's like inflaming something or it's impacting it in a negative way?
So it turns out that
Kind of feel it burning.
So first of all, everyone is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So let's recognize that it's super important to listen to your body, and if something is you're not responding well to something, cut it down or cut it out or try it in a different way for sure. So some people will be very sensitive to chilies, other people not.
Yeah.
Right. Now here's the thing: that switch that I told you, the TRPV1 that the chili activates in your tongue to text message your brain, it's present along your entire gut. So it keeps on, as it's rolling down, it keeps on sending that message all the way to the end, which is, why some people feel it burning.
I feel
going
that
out.
burn on the way out too. Now, what does that mean when you eat something and the next day it burns too on the way out? And sometimes I'm sweating again. Is that a good thing?
Well, I mean, it just shows you that what you ate is actually doing something. It's your body's response to what you
Okay.
ate, and it's actually turning on your metabolism.
Interesting.
Okay.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean that you want it to burn on the way out.
Right.
Right. You want to tune
Have
it
a little
to-
bit less than the
Have a little bit less.
Yeah.
All right. Now the other thing that's really
Okay.
interesting about. So anyway, so that's a middle aisle one. That's 3.
Dried chili powder or salsas, yeah, chili
Okay.
salsas, sriracha sauce, yeah,
Fourth,
yep.
I'm going to pick can of beans.
A
Or it could
can
be-
of beans.
Or it could be dried beans. Yeah,
A
beans.
can of beans. What type of beans? Black beans, pinto beans.
So actually, any of these beans are all legumes. So it could be navy beans, pinto beans, red beans, black beans. Could even be lentils, frankly. But the point is that they're beans, and these legumes actually not only have healthy fats, they are very rich in dietary fiber.
Really?
Now, why is that good for your metabolism? When you eat beans, not only are you feeding your gut microbiome with the fiber, it turns out that beans actually make you feel a little more full.
They fill you up.
Well, they give you the sensation that you're
feeling,
filled up.
yeah.
You feel that way. They don't necessarily cause you to bulge out. Okay, so if you even eat a
Couple
spoonful of
spoons.
beans slowly, or bean soup, bean stew, if you eat it slowly, don't chug it. All right, even a few spoonfuls will make you feel like eating a little bit less. That's playing in your brain. That's actually helpful, right? It's your body just helping it. You're using your operating system to basically say, don't eat so much.
Right.
And yet, those beans are feeding your gut microbiome. Your gut microbiome is lowering inflammation, helping your metabolism, making your body more sensitive to insulin, so your metabolism is more efficient. All right, helping you heal better, text messaging your brain to release social hormones, all good things. And so it's been. And by the way, it's been studied at the University of Toronto. Basically, 1 cup of beans eaten 5 days a week. Right, so that's not every day of the week, and it's not a whole can. It's about a half a can, 3/4 of a can. Actually will shrink your waistline by about almost 2 inches.
Come on, wait. 1 cup of beans a week.
Yeah, this has been studied. University
For
of
how
Toronto.
long?
About a month.
A month.
Yeah, and that's the only thing you do. No workout, no special dietary, no caloric restriction.
Eating the same amounts of foods you normally eat.
Yep, just
Kinda
adding the beans.
Just adding the
Yeah,
beans.
I'm telling you, this is why you can eat to beat your diet.
Wow.
Like, the whole idea about dieting is, right, it's cutting out, deprivation, elimination, doing something you don't want to do. I'm telling you, like, you can lean into this and you can actually find foods, and again, Beans are one of them. Chili is another one. Chili peppers.
Yep.
Chili peppers and beans. Now you got chili.
Oh, there you go.
Right?
There you go. It's a chili. Yeah,
Right. So again, combining them, you can actually get all this other stuff. It's just really interesting what the science is showing us.
Now, there's so many different diets out there. I can't remember which one says don't eat legumes. If that's the paleo diet or something else like this that's saying like legumes are bad for you or whatever it is. What is it about legumes that some people say you shouldn't eat?
I think people talk about lectins again in the
Lectins
legumes.
and legumes of like you should remove these or have them a certain way. But
you know, you want to soak your beans. That'll actually neutralize everything.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
biggie. Like you know, I want to basically communicate how it's a non-issue.
okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and the lectins are not poisonous.
Gotcha.
They're not poisonous in the beans. So soak them, and if you soak, the longer you soak them, the less gas they can cause. Right. So that's also helpful.
That's nice.
Exactly.
Are there certain beans that are already pre-soaked that you can buy? Or
You know, honestly, a can of beans is already pre-soaked, like ready to eat can of beans.
can of pinto beans or black beans?
Yeah. Now we can get into all the, you know, are there plastics in the can and all
Are
that
they
kind of stuff.
organic and this and that?
Yeah. I mean, we can get into that,
Uh-huh.
but I can tell you that like this is pretty simple stuff. You know, we were talking about the dude out there that has got a lot of extra weight and wants to know what can I do for myself in addition to timing your eating and with the things we talked about. Look, get into the grocery store and start picking selectively and stuff. And it could be, by the way, it could be dried chili peppers,
Right.
or it could be fresh chili peppers. You want to make some Thai food?
There you go.
Right.
I like it. Okay, great. So
I think I owe you one more.
Yeah, so that was beans. So the fifth one, food that will help you burn fat and lose weight.
I'm actually going to go to the seafood section. And I know seafood can be controversial because a lot of people say, I don't like fish.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that if you don't like fish, you haven't had, if you say, I don't like seafood, you just haven't yet had seafood cooked the right way. I'm just telling you that.
Okay.
There are people that live along the coast that eat seafood, and it is so
Yeah.
delicious.
The Mediterranean diet is one of the diets that helps people kind of live longer in certain blue
Absolutely.
zones, right? Yeah.
And also in Asia as
Yeah.
well. So, and that's why I call my approach to eating Mediterranean.
Mediterranean, I like
yeah,
that.
it's kind of like a mix, a blend of both.
Uh-huh.
It's how I naturally eat. But let's talk about the seafood section. So everybody used to say, think, again, this is a little bit of myth busting. It's you got to have oily fish. It's got to be salmon or sardines or
yeah.
mackerel or anchovies. And people
to
go,
get the omegas, right?
because of the omegas, oh man, like that's too fishy for me. I don't think I could eat sardines, you know. Oh, you know, my mom made salmon once and I don't like it. Okay, but here's the surprise. The science has now shown that even non-oily fish, less oily fish, can actually have enough omega-3s to give you the benefit. So salmon will actually cause you to lose weight, but cod, which is a non-oily fish, will also cause you to lose weight.
Love cod.
A little bit less than salmon, a little bit less weight, but it turns on your metabolism. Omega-3 in cod is enough to turn on your fat-burning system for your metabolism. It activates your metabolism. Now, from that, from the omega-3 in cod, you can then extrapolate to other seafood, clams, mussels, shrimp. I can tell you, 4 shrimp will turn on your fat-burning system the way that a piece of cod would. It would actually burn fat, right?
4
Now-
shrimp. I love shrimp.
Yeah. Now I can tell you how you cook your food makes a big difference. If you deep fry your shrimp, you know, you take
That's
something
not
good,
good.
you've kind of gone backwards.
Yeah.
But depending on how you cook it, it's about being mindful. Eat plant-based foods. Well, why? You know, what is it exactly? And to go beyond, you know, the hand waving, kale waving kind of stuff, I think that's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
Getting to those details.
And what would you say are the 3 or 5 foods that people should avoid